still need to.
I take it you like films. I guess everybody does, but I mean, are you a real aficionado, or, I mean, you go more than once a week?
Oh, no, not really. No? I haven't.
You're not a 3-movie a
I
day
haven't
man.
studied foreign films and movies and that, no. I'm just interested in the visual medium, that's all.
It's nice to have a club to go to. I sometimes still like to, sometimes you want to go out to a club where there's people and there's music and stand there and feel that. But there are no clubs in Los Angeles to go to except for Whiskey A Go-Go or the Troubadour. And those aren't really
you don't get that kind of feeling in
clubs.
there.
They're all have, those people, most of them I think have such preconceived attitudes. Even the people that run the club about what they'll allow and what they won't and what's hip and what isn't hip, and and it's just, it really takes away a lot of the spontaneity or the excitement of it.
The Fillmores were interesting because they were created by the audience, whereas the whiskey was the whiskey before there was an audience, And now the Fillmore is it's the creation of an audience 3 or 4 years ago. It's no longer
right. The whiskey was always the standard entertainment format.
They change with the
It was
trends.
created by the people who made it, who built it. I don't know.
It's the same
I
as the
can't
Troubadour,
get behind the Troubadour at all. Diane had some guest passes or something. We went down there. Some girl at the thing said, "I won't honor those because you're not Diane Gardner, and I know her." Just and so Doug Weston kind of intervened a little bit, but always there's some hassle there, with something.
Oh, it's probably worse than program space. That's a ballroom. It depends on the person.
Does your magazine get a lot of passes to events to cover the event and all that? Are they pretty generous with that?
We generally don't want them.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's much better than that vague. It's like I'm going to be going off on tour with the Jackson 5.
Oh, wow.
To do a big story on them,
Beautiful.
And the guy at Motown asked me something like, well, we can't take care of your airplane tickets or something. And I just told him, well, we didn't assume you would. Please don't. It's just much better to know that kind of tie-in because, all about promotion and stuff.
That's great.
They're one of the people that are really interested in because they're really, really, kind of young.
Yeah, and that's what's needed, I think, is that kind of youth and freshness. And, they're not original. It's just that they're a bit different and they're enthusiastic, and that's all that really matters right now to me.
Have you seen them yet?
The Jackson 5?
In person?
I
bet their audiences are real young.
I bet you they draw a lot of old people too, because
They
that
do a lot of
whole
middle-aged people.
Motown, everybody gets out usually behind a good Motown act.
Oh, sure.
It's never like Aretha Franklin didn't. I think always.
It might be
Motown
part of the
always
nature of
draws.
the black audience. A lot of the most devoted fans are in the age range where they're naturally taken by parents to the concerts. And the parents dig it too, because the music is in the house all the time.
Sure.
Yeah, I saw them at the Forum. It was like evenly divided between like mothers, not too many fathers, but mothers and kids between about 9 and even 18 and 19.
Yeah. I saw Smokey Robinson and Stevie Wonder at the Greek Theater, and it was that kind of crowd, a very family crowd. But, the kids just unleashed themselves. They went crazy, rushed the stage, and they screamed, those Beatles, and, it's the same trip.
I think they need more rock and roll acts and more bands that'll come along that'll be new.
But the audience wasn't predominantly black.
It's that kind of fashion themselves on the old bands like the Stones, that Beatles, that.
Well, what the people want is they want an artist or a band to come along that's just totally casting aside all the past and all the business associations. They have to give the impression we're doing this for a reason. It's not because we're out here to make a lot of bread off you people,
Well,
don't you think?
No, I don't know, because
they want to see them drive big cars or something and live well. Yeah. But I think they want to feel that the group is a part of their community rather than something that's being laid on from somewhere else on top of it.
Most of the big groups have gone so far that it's always that. Like the Stones, when they were here, this huge red for the tickets and everything.
I don't know. Again, it comes down to me anyway to fragmentation of the audience. I mean, there are those who will accept Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young as members of the community because they're right on stage and they have the kind of glowing family approach to it. And it's me singing the song for you, or to the 20,000 of you, but still we're singing for you. We're all friends. But there will still be 4 or 5 or 10% of the audience that will think only in terms of, man, 60% of the gross and against 25,000, rip off, man, 750 ceiling. And there will be those who will think along those lines no matter what. I mean, they'll dig the music and buy the albums.
Yeah.
So they're part of the fans, but they'll still think along those lines. So it's hard to say that, like, the Stones are accepted as, at one point the vanguard of the revolution because of one song they sang, and yet people don't forget that they swept through the states and, wiped everybody out financially.
Do you think that the Rolling Stone magazine will evolve into a different type of journalism? I notice, you do cover political events and other cultural events, but do you think that the policy will be to make it basically a music magazine?
As long as we believe music is a good basis and a strong force in communication.
You have to adapt at this point.
Yeah, well, we do. If you look,
There's got to be some changes.
It's funny. Yeah, right. It's like it's funny when the other magazines who are trying to catch up with Rolling Stone will say things like Rolling Stone has become a trade magazine for the music press, or something. And then you look at the last issue, and John Lennon's not exactly Billboard, We're running fiction pieces now. We're running fiction pieces. We're trying to run more poetry.
What I think is happening, like even in movies, I was telling Jim, like even before this rush, I said, there's got to be some movies, some like things about girls again and romance in films and things like that. And right after that, there was a thing on Time Newsweek about this new return.
Age of romance, yeah.
Because I think people need that. Everybody's been so heavy for so long. Everybody's been like super heavy, super analyzing.
Well, that's happened in music. It happened in music a year or two ago, and with the people like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and James Taylor, and Joni Mitchell, and Judy Collins, and on. The move to acoustic music and more lyrical poetry.
But somehow they never quite came off in the same way. What I mean? Do you see what I mean? Like somehow or other they never quite did it. Somehow.
Yeah, but
there was no humor. They weren't funny.
Yeah. Well, I think Rolling Stone is adaptable. I think that sure, Jan Wenner's own personality is so strong that he was indeed a fan, in the strictest sense of the word, of the Stones, the Beatles, and Bob Dylan. That overshadowed a lot of, it was just so disproportionate. Whenever Dylan moved his finger, we reported on it, or the Stones, we'd cover it, send 14 reporters to Ultima, And the Beatles, when the book came out, we didn't give a little half column, we gave it, the whole issue. We gave a 4-page spread, just new photos and everything else, editorials, a special issue, an insert, whatever. So I think that with the passing of time, Jan has come to realize that those are no longer the centers. They were the
He's
basics.
a young guy, and he's 26 or
24.
24.
Just turned 25.
I just hope some more humor comes into it. Some more humor. I mean, I've learned, I've watched lately, and I think it requires a lot of intelligence to be funny and witty.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe even more so than to be super analytical.
I know. It's just that journalism, that profession, requires a certain amount of cynicism.
Yeah.
And cynicism always turns into sour humor. And sour humor makes you a target for hate. And therefore, especially with the sensitivities of those artists who are written about, they can't really see the humor as much as they poke. They don't see the little jab as much as a sting.
Yeah.
We were talking about the heroes in the 20s were the movie stars, and then in the 30s, sports figures.
Were great heroes during that period.
Yeah, but not. I mean, real mass heroes. And then, the musicians were heroes. And I thought it could be, like maybe political activists could be the new heroes. But you know what? could be the new hero. I just got a flash. It could be a journalist. I'm not a journalist, but an editor, a crusading young hip